What's going on, everybody? So, I know it's been a little while since I posted anything to the YouTube channel. So, here's what's up. Since I posted my last video, we have confirmation that the left hip needs to have a total hip replacement. So, in a couple weeks, actually about 20 days, I go in and get a new hip. Now, being a personal trainer, and you've been with me all along as I've tried the acupuncture, the cryotherapy, the myofascial, they all work on muscle issues and soft tissue stuff, but they don't help bone. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I kept telling myself, "Oh my God, it might be the hip." Especially since everything wasn't working. Foam rolling wasn't working. Bands weren't working. Cardio was getting worse and worse. As I did more research, of course, I found that all of the things that was happening to me and the symptoms were getting worse and the mobility was getting worse. The strength and balance is getting worse and the pain was getting worse. I finally had, as I said, went to AVN and blew the last lug nut off the tire. Um, that was as much as the hip could take. So when I got back to DC and my insurance, my better insurance kicked in, um, yep, the doctor confirmed that not only do I've always had scoliosis. I did gymnastics for a short bit when I was young, and by 14, I had already gaped my scoliosis. My back was looking like an S. So that was my decision at 14 to give up gymnastics. It didn't stop me from playing softball. Played that all the way up to college. I played high school tennis. I played tennis all my life, snow skied, I water skied all my life. I am a water baby. I've surfed, taught my son to surf, skateboarded. Oh my God, skateboarded and roller skated. Only to find out that all these things that I've done, and I've been a bodybuilder since I was 12. I have done all this on a hip structure that I have shallow hip sockets. So what that means is that actually the doctor kind of joked and said, technically, my hip bone structure, the pelvic structure, is actually more like a man's pelvic structure. So that means that this big fat booty and thick thighs have been sitting on a pelvic girdle that if this is a hip socket, the femur is out here instead of being in here. So um, yeah, I guess it's kind of crazy that I got to be 56 and had multiple surgeries along the way since I was a kid. Um, that nobody ever really said anything about that. But my pelvis is straight, which that's a good sign because most people who have the need of a hip replacement, they're usually going to be tilted. And when I told her, I said a lot of times, especially when I was in competition, I used to go to the chiropractor weekly. Um, and my chiropractor in LA, I've had two amazing chiropractors that always took care of me. Actually, three. But the one in particular always could set me back, that I always felt like my pelvis was this way and this way. Um, and again, when we're bodybuilding, we're shaping a body. We have the ability and especially if you're knowledgeable, that you can actually rebuild your body and make the composition equal and balanced. So I have some work to do after the hip because with the back and the scoliosis, the surgeon found that not only do I have a bulging disc in the L4, L5 region, which is the lumbar. So for you guys, you don't know, it's in the low back, just above the top of the pelvic. I have a bulging disc between L4 and L5 and L5S1. That's the sacroiliac area. So if your pelvic is here, the top of that top heart shape of the pelvis is called the iliac crest. So when the spine comes down, my spine is actually looking like this right now. Doctors know what doctors know, and she's good at what she does. I'm a personal trainer for a long time. I'm a sports conditioning coach, and I've done post-rehab work for over 25 years. So the thing that I know is that my body being shifted one way walking and trying to stabilize its core has helped do this from the muscles weakening. So my whole agenda is that once I rehab the hip and strengthen the muscles around the new hip, my thing is to go back and rebuild my back like it did when I was in my 40s. I had no pain. I had no problem with my scoliosis. What I am going to do is I'm going to up my milk intake so that the calcium levels stay high. My bone mass is good. I'm not losing bone mass. My bone density test came out amazing. I'm pretty damn healthy, which is why when we're doing the surgery in a couple weeks, I'm actually doing it in a surgery center, not a hospital. So I'm going home the same day. And then with that, I'm taking you guys on YouTube on the journey. I'm documenting pretty much every day on YouTube so that you guys can see that having a joint replacement is no big deal. Today's new orthopedic devices are amazing. I've spoke with so many people. I have a gentleman friend that is a jazz musician. He actually takes chemotherapy pills because he's got a different kind of cancer than what you guys are all used to. So it's not like he goes in and takes chemotherapy once a month or whatever. And with his strength, he's traveling all over the world and doing amazing things. But he also had to have a hip replacement. The thing that made me feel the most confident, because I was a little worried about this, even though I have friends that actually sell the medical devices and have gave me great advice, that this gentleman is a black belt in Taekwondo, and he said anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks later, he showed me a video that he was back doing side kicks. I can't tell you how inspiring that was, and knowing that I'm even just a little bit younger than he is, that I'm healthier. So I'm happy to think that my ass will be back kickboxing again, because that was probably I knew I would be bodybuilding again, so that wasn't a problem. And I knew I'd be back filming again, so that wasn't a problem. And I knew some of the other things that I do, personal training, I'm going to be back better than ever. But I was worried about the wrestling, and I was worried about kickboxing, whether or not I would be able to either, my left leg, which I'm working on, is usually my preferred standing leg, and I prefer to kick you with my right leg. I can kick both sides, but I feel more comfortable and I feel stronger actually kicking with my right leg. That's why I think sometimes I'm not left-handed. I might be a little ambidextrous myself. But so that was promising. And so a friend of mine had me confer with one of his clients that he trains. My boy used to play in the NFL, and his client played in the NFL, and he needs a hip replacement. The only difference is that with the pain being so immense, that he had actually opted for the shot, which I did not. Cortisol, and what cortisol does is that it doesn't fix your problem. it's only putting a band-aid on a gaping wound. So it's not even going to help you with everything. It's only going to mask the pain. Now, the problem with if you have any type of injury, plantar fasciitis, my dad used to get cortisone shots in his neck from the stress, pulling so tight on the neck. It only is like a numbing agent, so to speak, that if you have an injury and now you're feeling better, you're going to push past what your body is telling you, because that's what pain is. Pain is in the first place. It's a warning signal. It's like the flashing lights and the guardrails at a train stop. Don't go over those railroad tracks. Well, that's what pain is. Pain is a response, a nerve response that gets sent to your brain to tell you something's going on. So if you're not understanding and reading your body's pain, you're pushing through, which is like what I've done. So in the midst of this conversation with this gentleman, who's, he was an offensive lineman, big fella, that he has the shot and he's still out running gassers and stuff because he's feeling good. I can't even imagine. I can't even run. I can't even hardly walk. And as we were talking, he's having the same progression that I am having, the same thing that I found in my research with the results of what happens when the body it starts to pull, that then it becomes where I first thought it was a hip flexor that moved to the glute, which then moved to the IT band, pulling on my knee, and now pulling on the bottom of my foot. But in the research that I've done, that is the end of the line before you really can't walk anymore. So, yeah. So my doctor found 3 cysts, besides the fact that I'm bone on bone and the femur is lying on top, and it's actually here. So it's lying on top of the bottom of that pelvis socket, or the top of the pelvis socket. But in this area, I have 3 large cysts. So when you look at my x-ray, it really kind of looks like a cloudy day in my femoral socket. The thing about that is that the gentleman that I spoke to, he was like, yeah, I have a cyst there. My friend jumped in and he goes, yeah, well, she's got 3. When the body feels like there's something broken, like how we heal a broken bone. So you might have snapped a bone and now it has a fray or a crack. The body then becomes friction, and that friction creates a bone mass to heal itself. The body is quite amazing. It's no wonder there's a million miracles that goes on in your body every day, but the calcium is important to help heal those bones. So when that bone is shifting, like a femoral socket, and there's no cyst or no cartilage in here to help roll and whatnot. That's why I can't hardly walk. That's the funny walk. Everybody says, oh my God, you got a funny walk. That this is up here and it can't roll and pivot. But it's also now creating that friction, which then throws off and created the cyst. So that's what happened. And needless to say, I'm up and walking that day. They're sending me home with a walker. So with my porn fans, then you guys know that I won't be able to shoot. The recovery process is 3 to 4 months. So I will not be touring. I will not be filming. So now everybody's been asking me a lot, like what I've been doing besides prepping for this, because I don't live every day going, oh my God, my hip. But with that being said, I'm self-employed. I'm self-employed as a personal trainer. I'm self-employed as a film actress and producer. And I'm self-employed as an Isagenix distribution representative. So if I don't work, I don't eat. That means there's no money coming in. So I have been primarily focusing on selling Isagenix, and actually what I should say is our company is, we don't say sell, we say share. The great things about Isagenix I just met with a gentleman the other day who, that's what he does is he advises small business people. And as he told me, yes, Isogenics is an amazing product. You should do well on that platform. So building my Isogenics business has been really important to get that up and going, and getting as many people um, in the know, as I would say, that I would say that I've lost weight. Unfortunately, not being able to lift. I've lost muscle, but I've been able to maintain a healthy body. I don't have much of a double chin anymore, which I was starting to get. My body still has inflammation a little bit, but that's because I haven't been like this weekend, the UFC fight. So I've been had more beers than I normally would do. Um, I think I had Chinese food last week that really messed me up. So uh, needless to say, no more Panda Express for me either. Um, that is what has kept me going though. So I've been quote unquote stacking my chips because I'm not making money for 4 months. Um, I have a little bit of a stash, but I will be doing some stuff online at home, webcamming, one-on-one Skype sessions. So, again, I have a lot of lists that I'll be able to share with you guys that you can contact me there. And again, I'm going to update YouTube every single day so that you guys see the progression of me um, coming back stronger than ever and hopefully even stronger than before. And the goal of still getting on stage. Absolutely. So, my girlfriend, who I know in Chicago, took uh, placed second in the Wings of Strength over this last weekend too. So shout out to Roz. She did good. Roshana, good job, girl. Um, that yes, that's been the thing. Is that although I love the adult film industry, bodybuilding has always been home, and it has always been my safe place for keeping me happy, fit, and healthy. And that's the reason why even my doctor was like, you don't look 56. That's great. But I know I can do better and look better. So that's the next step is rehabbing after this surgery. So with that said, keep an eye on the channel, and everybody, if you're interested in getting healthy and a healthier lifestyle and against food choices and whatnot, PT training at hotmail.com, or you can hit my Isogenics up at ptbo.isogenics.com and sign up, order your products, contact me. And again, anybody who signs up with Isogenics, you actually automatically get free training to help you with the Isobody Challenge. And anybody interested in the Isobody Challenge, again, you can hit me at ptbo. Actually, it's pt underscore training at hotmail.com. Namaste. Be good humans. Treat each other with love and respect. Ciao.